Hey, Christoph here. I wanted to explain a concept here, one possible direction for the Alby brand and Alby character, brand character, that we could use. So after our last conversation, when we talked about this mood board here, uh, stuff that I kept talking about, just my ideas, doesn't have to be everybody else's, was based on the idea that, everybody seems to kind of like having kind of character. But my hunch was that this doesn't feel like modern and forward looking in a way that a lightning extension maybe should. It's more traditional, this could be like from 20 years old, this could be some cartoon character from TV. And some of the other things, they're pretty literal. You don't really want to see an actual bee. Like real bees, they sting you, they make you uncomfortable when they fly around you. So you do want some have some of abstraction, but you also don't want it to be too cartoony in a way. So it kind of, I was just saying, it's kind of nice when things feel more modern and forward looking in a way for Bitcoin things. So I ended up with, looking kind of for a more modern inspiration. So combine kind of this traditional character with, this is from the movie Wall-E. This is Eve or Eva, I think. And, she buzzes around. She's super high tech, kind of a robot, but also has kind of human qualities to her. The general body shape does kind of match this type of body shape here too. It has arms, bees have two wings. I feel like, for me, it kind of worked there as a starting point. And what I came out of those two is basically here. So there's this little bee character, but you can tell it's a robot. It's kind of hovering up and down. It looks like it could be pretty fast, like it could just buzz around real quick and has a few tricks up its sleeve. And then the eyes here could be used to represent, that was John's idea, that the head and the eyes could represent the status, and there could be all kinds of different expressions. And of course, it's a robot, so it doesn't have to just form the traditional eyes kind of opening, closing, looking, angry, happy. But you can actually do all kinds of other things like this here, like in a digital display. And it can also completely change color because it's a robot of the future, right? So that's kind of where I ended up with my initial exploration. So I like it. I think it's cool. It could probably be better. It could probably evolve a lot more. But this is where I ended up after I also looked at a bunch of other different types of robots here and expressions, and looked at tried a few other things, like to see if we can get something from these type of designer vinyl toys, figurines, and whatnot. And then I fleshed this out a little bit further. So here are some of these face or head states. The head feels a bit kind of squished vertically. Wondering if it should be a little bit taller overall, so it doesn't feel so rectangular, but maybe more square in the total proportions. So this would be, on the left would be normal. Here it's loading or processing something. Here, or just loading data or connecting to the website or so. Green, it's a payment went through, or maybe a connection got accepted. Then blue, this could be a transaction is maybe processing. So when it's loading data, you don't really need to be aware of it. But when it's processing a transaction, you may want to easily see that. So turning the whole head blue might actually work. And then if something went wrong, you also want that kind of be obvious. And when you actually put it in a browser toolbar mockup, it's kind of small. So, this checkbox here, it's recognizable from this distance, and it kind of works that way. Much smaller wouldn't really work, but you do also want to have this color change of the whole icon too, just to make it very easy to see. But that's something we'd have to fine tune. Right now, I'm just kind of throwing this idea here out there just to see what it would look like. And then for a website, this is also something I mentioned here. So I feel like it could be just really big, chunky, and simple. So like this, maybe the first version is just this. Maybe you don't even have navigation at the top. And it's just this big thing that feels just, simple. You're just going to add to Chrome. You're just going to do it. and try it out, and it guides you through everything else. Then maybe the second version of the website allows you to scroll down and has this navigation where you just see the features and whatnot. But at the beginning, it's really just, just make it playful, make it feel like a toy. And also with this preview here, showcase really display the use case here, how it works. So in here, Hype Machine, I listened to this awesome music, I increased my allowance, I enabled access. It tells me the whole story of what this application actually does. So I think this is kind of roughly what I would do. Just throwing things out there. Love it, hate it, it's all good. And we can just kind of take it from there. There are all kinds of directions you could explore, just visually, just of course the content itself, the language you want to put here, the call to actions, how this guides people into the extension itself, the character, whether you like it or not, if you even want to use a character now or not. One of the things, if you have a character, is that the logo type itself can be pretty straightforward, because the character already adds a lot of personality. As you can see, it's just a yellow background. You don't even need very much, because the character and the big type here, that's plenty. You don't need to overload it with patterns or other types of visual treatments. If you remove the character, it might feel a bit plain, but just throwing all kinds of considerations out there. And now I'm curious to hear what you think of this. So let me know. Thanks.